yesterday was a day where I felt I did not need to check prices across the crypto market. Felt like everything was in pretty good shape. And lo and behold, that's exactly what we saw. It was a lot of green, a lot of accumulation taking place. It seemed like a lot of people were, in fact, waiting for a little bit larger of a dip to keep re-adding to their bags. And that's exactly what we saw. Nice defensive price. ADA closing up about 4.75% today, off to another green note once again, up almost 2% on the daily. This is a perfect spot to be headed into the weekend. And I do want to talk about just a couple things that took place yesterday, but I do want to show actually this huge similarity between ADA and BTC as well. This might give us a little bit of direction here moving forward. So again, if you guys haven't already, show your support for the channel below. It has been growing like crazy, and it's all because of you guys. Now, what I will say here is ADA is back again on top of this trend here, which is a great sign. You guys can see the last time we wicked below this, which was back in the early part of April. We did, in fact, get a very quick wick back above this, breakout, retest, and then we were kind of off to the races. And it seems like that's what ADA is wanting to do here. Like we talked about, we're again trying to confirm that right shoulder of our inverse head and shoulders. On the shorter term time frame, we may also see ADA building a smaller inverse head and shoulders here as well. So just watch out for that. If we get a little bit of an extension here and come back down, that might be one of those that really does, in fact, turn this trend around. But what I will say is that yesterday was a day that you saw a lot of stability from the market, despite us seeing a little bit of a hot jobs report. So we actually saw 139,000 new jobs added in May, which was in fact higher than expectations. But where I think this kind of ended up okay, or why it ended up okay for the markets, is the revisions showed that jobs were far less than what was reported. All right, 95,000 job revision coming from March and April. So even though some of these months have in fact been a quote unquote hot jobs report, the revisions are showing that they're not hot jobs reports. And that is a great thing. That is, again, where we're seeing the data necessary for us to get to interest rate decreases. Not saying that, has to happen for sure right here, right? But these are the steps that we need to follow to get there. And the market is starting to, I think, feel that just a little bit more each and every one of these reports that we get. Now, again, I think next week is the FOMC meeting. So definitely something to pay attention to there. Maybe a surprise interest rate decrease. Not saying it's happened for sure. Right now, the likelihood is not on our side. But when we're again seeing all these other nations around the world lowering rates, there's going to be a point where it forces the U.S.'s hand into doing something. Now, I did want to show you here as well. Yesterday was an institutional outflow day in terms of BTC. BlackRock actually did a little bit of unloading, which has been kind of uncharacteristic for the most part. They've been adding, but as you guys can see, if I can cover up my camera here, you guys can see that for the most part, it has been accumulation. Usually when they do have these dump days, they snap back pretty hard and do some pretty significant addition. What I did want to show here that I thought was very interesting was actually on the Ethereum side, yet another day of accumulation. This marks 15 straight days of accumulation. That is the second longest period we have ever seen, the longest period only being 18 days. And that was way back middle of 2024 when these things first launched. So this is a great sign. We're seeing a lot of, interest from institutional players, and they're just buying and buying and buying. And this, could in fact be a very good sign for altcoins as well. Again, if the market's showing more stability, that is exactly what the market wants to see. That's where you can start to see sentiment shift. I mean, if you guys remember, we had gotten up into the greed range in terms of the fear greed index. We've returned back to neutral. So the market came in a little bit overheated into this, and now it's kind of cooled down. We're finding stability. We're kind of waiting for that floor to really get things running. And what's interesting here is that I found this article that was actually talking about ADA structure right now compared to the cycle of Bitcoin, or Bitcoin's first market cycle structure. And there are some eerie similarities. Again, the bull, the bear, the reaccumulation phase between the two of them, and the first sign of a new bull market. And it's showing very similar structure to when BTC started to take off in 2013. Now, not saying that this, has to happen for sure. Again, history is just sometimes a good gauge of where prices may be heading or what direction we might see if there are any surprises in the charts. And lo and behold, we've had some surprises. But again, just want to go back and show you guys this. We've been tracking very, very similar to that even last market cycle in November of 2020. All right. So this could mean that the market is ready for a little bit of a rebound. Sometimes you need a little bit of a buying event when the market gets a little stuck. All right, that's probably the best way to explain it. Now we've headed into this weekend with a little bit lower volume. Yesterday was only $101 billion in daily trading volume. Nothing crazy. That's kind of been average for the week, I will say. And we'll see if this weekend is enough to push prices a little further. But what I will say is I actually found this very good post from Alex Becker. It says every giant company is buying Bitcoin in billion-dollar clips. Crypto IPOs are about to be the hottest thing in finance. Every giant institution is building stablecoin / DeFi or integrating DeFi. We are not going back down. This is a super cycle up. And the more I see the data and the more we are seeing these things play out in the crypto market cycle, the more it feels like we're going to have a cycle extension, like it's going to extend past October. I'm not ready to say that yet because we'll still need more data. We'll need to watch those top indicators, which again, if you guys have not checked this out, this is pretty cool. This is on CoinGlass. So this is bull market peak indicators, 0 out of 30 still. So we're not even anywhere close to this thing. We have not seen adoption take place yet. A lot of what this looks at is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, despite its higher price, despite the institutional money that is accumulating at insane rates, it is not showing signs that this is the top. That's great, right? That means right now we still have a lot of time ahead of us for altcoins. That means ADA still has a lot of time for growth ahead of it. And what I think is really interesting about this is, again, ADA's seeing some pretty big accumulation take place. I do want to talk about this in another video. I actually found some hit pieces in terms of ADA that I think you guys are going to find interesting. But I just want to share that with you guys. I appreciate it as always. Great spot to be this weekend. Hopefully we can just continue to build some momentum and hit the next week running. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.